All right, Wilt the Stilt. I'm back. Part 3. Here we go. Dark type animes that have pretty much a lot of gore, a lot of blood, are more pretty much the R-rated realm of anime. You know what I'm saying? The R-rated realm, film fixture of anime. You know what I'm saying? Probably, and some of them might have a bit more nudity, things of that nature. But they're pretty much the more dark types. Angel Heart is number one. Angel Heart, in my opinion, it's not a complete dark type. It's not the classic dark type, but in my opinion, it's a dark type because of the fact that it pretty much focuses around the lifestyles of assassins and people who are either assassins or very 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 good soldiers. You know what I'm saying? People who've been trained really well and things of that nature. And it basically focuses on their lifestyle and how they cope with, you know what I'm saying, when they're not on the battlefield. Because you have this story of this girl who basically is raised from as long as she can remember to kill. And when she can't take anymore, she decides to go ahead and kill herself. And when she killed herself, though, her agency basically finds basically a replacement for her heart and gives her a heart transplant so she can live. And even though she lives in the process, the whole transplant thing was a success, and she lives, she basically had a lot of nightmares. She doesn't wake up immediately, so they're about to scrap her. But right when they decide to scrap her is when she wakes up, and when she wakes up, she's having dreams and visions of this woman with this guy, and the woman is actually the owner of her heart. Her heart used to belong to, and the guy, as it turns out, is her fiance or husband. And so she searches for this guy, and come to find out, the guy is or used to be known as, you know what I'm saying, this big top city guy who killed people as well, or is known for killing people or taking people out or whatever like that. So so the two of them basically get together, and he decides to raise her as his daughter. And you basically see a lot of development of him still dealing with the mourn or loss of his wife, fiance, and her basically adjusting to a normal lifestyle, which is what she always wanted. Next up is Basilisk. Basilisk is about as dark as any anime can get. If you love ninjas, if you love fighting, you'll love Basilisk, because that's pretty much all it is. It's literally an all-out war battle between one ninja clan and the other, and basically the winner will get the sole will basically be known as the sole ninja clan behind the Fuel Lord. And so they're digging it out, and they're killing and they're destroying, and it's nothing but blood, guts, destruction, and deaths, which are awesome. I basically started this show out from its root at the manga level, and when I found out that it became an anime, I had to watch it, and I was totally in love with how they did it. I was glad it was done with pure justice. I was so happy to see it in moving motion. Next up on my list of dark types, Blade of the Immortal. Another classic, pretty much as dark as it gets type of anime. Literally the opening scenes is these 4 or 5 guys attacking this family, and they basically totally kill the father. They rape and then kill the mother, and then the daughter, I think, is either left alone or tied up or whatever, and she ends up escaping or something. But she pretty much vows revenge upon her killers and for her family. And she runs into this guy who was known as the person who killed 1,000 men. And he and basically after this time, whatever, after he killed 1,000 men, he basically ran to this lady who pretty much cursed him and basically granted him the ability of eternal life. So, I mean, of being immortal. So now no one can kill him, and he has to deal with the deaths that he's done. And until he finds basically his sense of atoning for those kills or whatever, then he pretty much is immortal. He can't be killed. So she teams up with him, and those two travel together and he decides to help her in his stake for revenge because he knows that without him, she's gonna be dead. So definitely check that out. Blood Plus. Blood Plus is a remake. Is basically a spin on vampires, and in my opinion, it was kind of up there in the known as, you know what I'm saying, more of a it's kind of up there in the popular division. It was kind of a popular anime when it came out, but it kind of fizzled as it became older, which is why I feel like it's not really that popular of an anime. But Blood Plus was a great series, totally great cast, a totally different spin on the vampires and the whole thing, and you see pretty much a lot of development out of this character called Saya. And so, if you love vampires, if you love supernatural, you love fighting, you'll love this kind of series. It's a great series, a great story. I love the story out of this series. It's a really great anime. Next up on my list, Noir. Noir is another assassin type anime where you focus on this little girl who's pretty much more of the really skilled anime. Really more skilled shooter out of her counterpart and partner. But basically, you're seeing a partnership of two women who play as Noir, and Noir is known as basically the top assassins in this story, and they fulfill any contract, any assignment, or anything, and they do it with perfection. And you have this young girl who is pretty much more of the accurate shooter, the more skilled type person, and the older woman who's more of the planner, the thinker, the absolute, you know what I'm saying, countermeasure of anything that can screw up or go wrong. And you see these two work together and kill and destroy, and it's awesome. Loved it. And the storyline itself was great because you get more than just these two doing contracts every episode. It's actually a story, and the story is actually follows more into the backstory of those two being together and the little girl. Next up and last, but definitely not least, in the dark types, and in my suggestions for anime to check out, is Phantom Requiem. Requiem of the Phantom. Requiem of the Phantom is a great assassin type of anime. You have this guy who basically gets kidnapped, is sent to this unknown location, is told, hey, you're gonna basically learn how to kill people, you're gonna be an assassin, and you're gonna basically you're basically gonna end up becoming better than a girl, and basically until you can kill this girl who's known as Phantom, you're not gonna be able to leave. And so you see this guy basically get broken down, get torn down, and then rebuilt back up, and having to accept things that he doesn't want to do and doesn't like to do, and then search for his own meaning of life and his own meaning of things. So it's something that almost anybody can love. If you love character development, you love fighting, you like assassins, you know what I'm saying, good gunplay, a really great story, everything. I mean, Phantom Requiem blew my mind when I watched this series, and I loved it. I was so glad that I watched it, and I was and even though I want to keep going, the ending was great, and the ending was something I could deal with, and it was just an overall great series. So if any of those titles catch your attention, pique your interest or whatever, definitely check it out. And if you do check it out, leave your comment on me, you know, on my videos or whatever. Let me know what you think. Hit me up on Twitter if you can or want to. My Twitter account is WR1T3HIM. Basically, write him, not writer. So hit me up on Twitter, whatever. Let me know what you think, and let me know what you thought about those animes that I shot your way. Now, to conclude this 3-part series, I'm gonna give you the worst animes I've ever seen, and there's 2 of them. Number 1 is Gantz. Gantz what turned me off on Gantz was the ending. Nothing is worse than watching a really great series and then the ending is just, flatline. It's like you just rise and you go here and then you go here and then you go here and you go here and you don't even drop. You just teleport to the bottom. Like there's no ride. There is no okay, I see it. Okay, it's going down bad. It's going down bad. It's just gonna plummet. No, it just teleported to the bottom and was just instantly like, wow, you give me this ending out of everything you could have done. You give me this, like, wow. So that's what it did for me for Gantz. But it was a great while it lasted, and then it just ended and it was horrible. So next up, second, the worst anime I've ever seen. The worst, and anyone who knows me will know, can tell you, Tenjo Tenge. If you are not a fan of, basically overall, what I was gonna say was if you're not a fan of flashbacks, then don't watch this show. But really, it's pretty much worse than it's not really so much the flashback itself, because the sad part of the matter is the story is you have these two guys who go to school, want to make the name for themselves, be known as number one, basically upcoming fighters who want to be known for people not to be messed with, and they basically get their butts beat, and basically one guy gets his butt kicked so bad it's awesome, and he doesn't come to school for a week, and then they go into a flashback about basically the group of people who beat them up, and because he decided to join them and learn a little more about them, so they go into a flashback about the whole series, the whole series of flashback of how this group came together, how they got so strong, what their plans are, and then you find out about this tournament coming up. It's going to have all these strong fighters in it, and they actually trained them to get them into the tournament, to only find out that they decided to go ahead and then right at that moment they pull the plug and don't show you anymore. Like, you basically just gave me a flashback for a series, and then to make it worse, you don't even really give me much fighting or any of the great fighting out of it. You gave me one good beatdown, maybe two more good fights, and then the fight that you would want to see, that you would hope to see, you don't see because the series ends. Because the series ends right then. It's like, what was the point of even making this series if you're not going to really have anything other than a backstory? Like, what's the point? So, I'm not going to talk about it no more. Anyway, so that pretty much concludes my anime history. Like I said, check out anime I suggested. Don't look at Gantz or Tenjo Tenge. Don't ever, never, ever look at those. And that's just my opinion. Again, my perspective on anime that I think people would like. But hey, different strokes for different folks. And I hope to hear back from you. Let you know. This is Wilt, sign out. Laters.